they got two downfield threats. They went out and they got two guys that with big catch radiuses. I like that they got guys. It feels to me like Javon Baker is going to take over Devontae Parker's role. Jalen Polk is going to take over Juju Smith-Schuster's role. And we'll see what happens with Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a guy, now you wonder about his roster spot. But it feels like they went out and tried to improve on the guys they have in place.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you look at it, again, people looked at their 40 times, but I think Baker averaged 22 yards a catch, led the country. Something ridiculous.
It was up there, yeah. It's like 21-6, I think, yeah.
Yeah, something wild. And Polk he was at like 16 or something like that. They find a way to get separation. They find a way to get open. And they find a way to always come down with the football. And I think that's a key thing this Patriot team was looking for. I always go back to it was my first time going to the training camp last year. And I'm pretty sure you remember I think it was the first day they had pads on. They were throwing fade routes to Parker over and over and over again, working on it, trying to get him to come down with it. And the first thing I thought of when they made some of these picks, especially when they got to Baker, was, oh, now they shouldn't have too many issues with them fade routes in the back of the end zone, where the 40s really don't come into play, but size, athleticism, and being able to high point the football does. And I think little things like that, it increases their red zone efficiency, having those type of targets. Like you said, they stretch the field in a different way. Safeties have to worry about them. But the question I really have for you, man, is where does Tyquan Thornton fit in this? Is there a way for him to really to show off his speed or ability, or looks like he's put on some weight? You see him working out in the offseason, stuff like that. What kind of make or break offseason is this for Tyquan Thornton?
Well, look, the one thing the one knock, if there is on this wide receiver draft class, is there's not a ton of speed. Mm-hmm. I don't think Baker's slow. He's not fast. He's not a burner, I should say.
Yeah.
And Polk is kind of in the same boat. So we kind of talked about it last year. Is he going to hang around just because of his speed? And that kind of ended up being the case, once he got back from that injury. And could that happen again? But he has no guaranteed money in his contract. So, yeah, he's another guy. Look, they have 4 roster locks. Demario Douglas, Kendrick Bourne, Javon Baker, Jalen Polk. Those 4 guys are going to make the team.
Yeah.
After that, it's Juju Smith-Schuster, KJ Osborne, Tyquan Thornton, Jalen Reagor competing for 1, maybe 2 spots. And obviously that changes if somebody gets hurt. But he's another guy like Juju Smith-Schuster that could be on the outside looking in.
And do you think Reagor hangs around because of the special teams changes? Kick returner or something like that?
He has that edge. So, he has that edge. Juju Smith-Schuster has the edge of experience. Okay. Tyquan Thornton has the edge with speed. It'll come down to what they want and who they feel can do the best with that. But it's going to be a crowded room again, as it feels like it's been every year at camp. But the thing is, it's usually crowded, but is there the talent there? Now there's a couple guys with significant upside. Let's go to the phones here on the wide receivers. Rod in Lynn. Rod.
Yeah, great show, guys. Listen to it every Sunday morning. Look forward to it. I just wish the Patriots had moved up from 34 to around 27, 28 and taken Tyler Guyton, an offensive lineman. I think he could have really anchored the line down. As far as the other, 4th, 5th round picks, you're not going to know about this draft for 3 years. So people say, oh, this team reached, this team did lousy. You're not going to know. We thought Neil Harry was going to be a great receiver, but he just didn't pan out. So you never know until 3 years later. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Rod. Chris in the Seaport isn't optimistic about the receivers. Chris.
Hey, guys, awesome show. Listen, I want to be optimistic, and I don't want to be this dude, but the Patriots chose to stay with basically the same coaching staff. They just got rid of Bill, and we've been watching Devontae Parker not be able to get open for 9 seasons, and that's what these guys are. These guys are not going to be able to get open at the NFL level. They're just too slow. They're not quick enough. I understand he had, long catches, but, guys, this is not college. The quarterback who knows what's going to happen, I don't think he's had a lot of coaching, but these guys, they are Devontae Parker. They're guys that are not going to be able to get open, And I'm petrified. They should have innovated. Look at what Kansas City does. They go get speed. They innovate. We do the same thing over and over again, and we never learn. Awesome show.
Thanks for the call, Chris. The coaching staff on offense is different. And as for the receivers, Polk can get open. Polk he's not going to run by guys, but he gets open. He's a very smart route runner. He looks at what's in front of him. He can create separation more by being crafty than just outright fast. Yeah, Baker's more of a contested catch guy. That's what he is. There is some Devontae Parker in his game. You just hope that he's more competitive at the catch point. Because with Parker, we saw, right? You go back to the Raiders game where he dropped that ball. And it seems like, I don't know if you saw his comments yesterday, Cerrone. Javon Baker is a very, very competitive guy.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I mean, he's competitive, confident. But what the caller was saying about speed and not getting open, I think one thing that gets overlooked now that we've put so much focus on the 40 time is route running.
Yes.
Tyquan Thornton is the fastest Patriot we've ever seen. But his route running skills and hands is the reason he's sitting on the bench. You have a guy on the team that runs a 4.28, whatever it is, which would have been the second fastest guy in this draft, which is crazy. But he didn't have the route running ability to get open. These guys, yeah, if they're running 4.5s, but yet they seem to be running free all the time, it's because they're good route runners. They know what to do against zone. They know how to find holes and hold on to the football. And NFL speed, not being able to get open, you're not going to be able to tell right away. Puka Nacua ran a 4.57. He was the best rookie receiver, one of the best rookie receivers we've ever seen. So you can't really base it off the 40 time. If these guys can get open, use their size, use their hands, they can be dominant players in today's NFL. All the guys that run 4.2, 4.3 40s, the reality is they never really pan out. Those aren't the guys that hang around the most. It's the guys that have the ability to run routes, get open, make catches under contact, kind of be able to read a defense, find holes, know when to sit down, know when to get their feet in bounds. Little things like that is how guys hang around and be productive pros. You can't base these guys off their 40 times to say they're going to be great or terrible.
All right, speaking of, let's go to Jason in East Bridgewater. Jason.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good.
I have no idea why they even kept Thornton. Yeah, I understand his speed, but he looked awful last year. Couldn't run the right routes, and they ended up costing him a game or two, I feel. He could have caught a few passes to help us out last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. They weren't going to get rid of him. I mean, he's in the second year of his rookie deal. He'll have to make the team this year. He has no guaranteed money. I don't think keeping him was an issue to this point, but I do think his roster spot could be on the fringe. I think it could. Again, 617-779-0985. You want to call in and talk Patriots draft with us here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. Let's go to Walter in Cambridge.
Yeah, I always laugh because you could tell a lot of these guys don't watch college football. They just go off they'll hear somebody that's like Felger or somebody who's down on everything that people do say, oh, he ran a 4.05. I watched the Bell game against Oklahoma. Baker game against Oklahoma. I watched him against Georgia Tech too. But I'm a Florida State fan, so the reason why I'm calling for is the Bell pick for me is a really sneaky pick because, like you guys are saying, they could do a lot of things with the kid. And the Hernandez comp is really well, but he's a better running back than Hernandez was. So it's like if they use him right, they could probably get a lot out of this kid. He could be a steal in the draft. I'm not saying an all-pro right away, but the kid does a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? And it's like but like I was saying, it's funny when people start talking about, oh, this guy, he ran a 4.5. They didn't watch the way he played. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you watch Washington play, it's when the other receiver got hurt, a lot of time Polk had to do all the dirty stuff. So it's like I wanted Adnan Mitchell, but I'm happy with what they did because Bill, if you guys watch the McAfee thing, he said that receivers wasn't even what do you call it, like a real thing that the Pats needed this year. He was going to run it back with Juju and them. And if Juju's on the team when the season starts, I'm going to lose my mind. You guys have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Walter. Yeah, on the speed thing, it's a great point. A caller earlier mentioned Puka Nacua.
No, I mentioned Nacua.
Or you mentioned Puka Nacua, sorry.
Yeah.
So Nacua last year had a horrible combine, but what happened was the Rams kind of looked at the in-game tracking numbers, like the actual miles per hour he was running, and realized, this doesn't line up. Like the combine numbers aren't the same as what we're seeing in this testing. And by the way, I think they may have done it again with safety Cam Kitchens this year. you got to kind of go to that. And I was surprised by Bell's testing at the combine. It wasn't great. I thought he was going to be one of the better combine testers. He looks on the field like a great athlete. And so to the caller's point, I think if he gets out there, don't be surprised if he's more of an athlete than maybe you think if you're just looking at the combine numbers.
And real quick before we break right quick, I was looking it up for a quick second. The receivers down in Houston, Tank Dell and Nico Collins, they're both third-round picks in 2 separate years. One ran a 4.4, the other one ran a 4.5. And there was points during the season where they were uncoverable when you put a good quarterback with them in their route running ability.
Right.
And a good offensive coordinator. So you can't base everything off the 40. And Nico, again, I think Tank Dell was a rookie. So you got him, Puka Nacua, both guys 4.5 40s, and they were uncoverable.
Did Dell run a 4.5?
He was a 4.49.
Wow. Because I remember thinking he was going to run. I really liked him in Houston. I remember thinking he was going to run maybe in the 4.3s.
Yeah.
And I remember he didn't. I didn't remember it was 4.49. So
4.49. It's probably why he slipped to the third round.
That's part of it. I remember that his combine people were, because he was smaller and it was like he's going to have to test through the roof, and he didn't. But again, the Texans found him. So maybe the Patriots got a guy like that in Jaheim Bell.